Hey there, it's Bobby Legs, and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. And today, you and I will be taking a look at the Citizen Tsuyosa Small Seconds. Now, before we get into the review, please like, subscribe, and share this video. I don't work with brands. I don't do paid promotions. So your support really means a lot to me. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you for coming back. Now let's flip that camera and look at this watch. Now, before we jump into the specs, quick check of the wrist. I have the Citizen Series 8 GMT. I picked this up for an upcoming trip. I figured why not get a GMT back in the collection, at least for the trip, because I need to know what my local time is when I'm away. Of course I don't, but it's kind of cool. Anyway, I really like this watch. Yeah, I got to do a review on it. I wasn't sure about the dial when I ordered it, and it looks pretty aggressive here with the light. But most of the time it's more subtle, and even the way it looks now, I love it. I'm really grown to enjoy this watch, and once the trip is over, let's see, maybe I hold on to it for a little while, maybe I sell it, I don't know, but it is a really cool watch, and I've been wearing it a lot lately. Getting back to the star of the show, and that is the Citizen Tsuyosa Small Seconds. About a year and a half ago, I did a review on the Citizen Tsuyosa when they first came out. A green dial with a sun ray finishing, had a date window on it, and I did a review on it. I did a comparison video with the PRX. The review was very favorable. Few things that I didn't like. Wasn't too crazy about the date window, and that's why I pointed it out. The crown, although it looks really slick, I do like the way it looks here. But it is kind of functionally a little bit hard, or at first it was really hard for me because I couldn't, hard to grab and wind. This is not a screw down crown, so that first position is kind of hard to wind. So the hack to it is just like you wind it with the back of your finger, you know what I mean? And that's totally fine. So it's not really a deal breaker at all. But let's talk about this version of it, which I think is, man, such an improvement just aesthetically from the original version, which was good looking anyway, I thought, right? Let's get right into the specs though before we start talking about that, right? So we have a 40 millimeter case diameter from end link to end link here. I measured 50 millimeters, 12 millimeter case thickness, and a 13 mil lug. This is a quick release bracelet here, and I'll get into that in a second. Stainless steel case with brush and polishing aspects to it. This president style, I've heard it being described as like a president style, day date Rolex type president style bracelet. This is not an apples and apples comparison of the bracelet. It's just what it reminds people and me of the bracelet. It does not taper. It's about 20 millimeters wide, and you do have this butterfly clasp. No adjustment or micro adjustment on this clasp, but you do have some half links here, and you just got to take your time and dial it in. The sizing, it's a push pin system, no collars, just pressure that's holding it together. Let's take a look at the back of the movement here, and I'll talk about that for a second. But look at this quick adjust, just really easy to use, amazing. There is a version of this model, I forget, I think it's an anthracite or gray dial that has a strap, and I'm just hoping that one of these third-party straps players like a Deluxe, who has come up with straps for the PRX, does something for this watch, because man, I think this particular watch with like a green leather type strap or rubber strap, blue rubber type strap or leather type strap would look phenomenal. Looks so great on this. It looks good on the bracelet too, but nice to have different strap options. Now let's talk about the movement here, and this is a slight upgrade from the previous Tsuyosa. I say slight, but it's actually a pretty decent upgrade. This is the Miyota 8332. It's got a 60-hour power reserve, 21,600 beats per minute. But what's really interesting about this piece, and I'm going to start talking about some of the aspects of the watch that makes it feel much more luxurious than the price point. And you probably have heard that about this watch if you've seen other reviewers do it. But some of these like movements, there's really nothing to see here, right? For me, like this watch has an exhibition case back, and there's really nothing to see, nothing impressive. I think they just do an exhibition case back just to impress some of the newcomers or some of the casual watch fans. And you see, you got a big old rotor here covering most of the movement. But what you have here is you have I guess you can call it a skeletonized rotor. And these are the kind of things that you see in some of more the high end pieces. Now, there's nothing special with the materials here. It's not like it's gold or anything, or gold plated even. And the movement is not necessarily anything to look at. But this little touch here just makes it feel so much more luxurious than sticking, a full rotor in here, like a one that's not like skeletonized. I'm just calling it skeletonized just for a lack of a better word, because it's not the full rotor. And I think it was such a smart move. Otherwise, it's adding thickness to this watch, and this watch could be thinner if we didn't have this exhibition case pack, and it could be thinner if they went with a higher end Miyota. But for the price point at $595, and you can definitely get it for a lot less. I mean, I picked this up in Yoma Shop for like $380, $390, and I'm sure in the next couple of months you'll be able to find it for even less. But this is just a nice little touch for this price point. Very, very nice little touch. Also, a nice little touch here is the stamped guilloche. Now, a lot of brands do this. They have stamped guilloche. Some of the higher brands will use a CNC machine or even like hand guilloche, right? But this is stamped, and this is so well done. Like, this makes this watch feel way more expensive than it is. And you throw in the fact that they ditched the date window and you have a small seconds hand. Man, this watch, it's at first blush, right? It looks way like it could be worth in couple $1,000. Now, I know that's a crazy statement because we know it's a Citizen and we know what the price point is on this one. But if you look at a lot of the smaller independent watchmakers, right, who make maybe like 100, 200, 300, 400 watches a year, they'll take a ETA or a Unitas 6498, a pocket watch movement, right? Originally for pocket watches that was made, and they will turn it to the 6 o'clock side and give that small seconds effect for on the dial side. And so, like, my brain, when I see this, when I see guilloche, when I see small seconds, I'm thinking, man, this reminds me a lot of a small independent watchmaker, spending hours and hours and hours with a single piece and being meticulous. And so it makes this watch, to me, feel way more than it is. And maybe it does for you. And I think that's why this line is so successful, and it's going to be even more successful down the road when they come with different variations of it. Now, it's not perfect, right? I mean, like, but for what it's worth, it's darn close. It's darn close for a $380 watch. I got to be honest with you. It's a great little piece. And if you like this integrated bracelet style, I know it's been beaten to death by so many brands, but if you like it, you like it, right? And you get such a great looking piece here. It just doesn't feel like they took any shortcuts per se. I'm sure, manufacturing wise, there's a ton of shortcuts here, right? I mean, but the package, the way they lay it out, is just so much. It just feels like a real high-end quality watch. And even when you put it on wrist. Now, I'm going to struggle putting this on back, as I always do. But it is pretty easy to put the bracelet back on, and then I'll cut away to a wrist shot. So here's the piece on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, and it feels great on wrist. It really does. The bracelet Feels nice to the touch. And if you can dial it in and get the right sizing, it's a joy to wear. Just very sporty and also very dressy at the same time. And hopefully Citizen or some of these third-party watch strap makers will make some great straps for this and really improve the diversity of this piece. Great piece. Now, again, listed at $5.95 on the Citizen site. If you do a little shopping, a little looking around, you can find it for less. I found it on YomoShop for $3.80. You could probably find it around the same price on eBay. You want to wait a couple months? Sure, go ahead, and you might even find it for lower. But this is a great piece. Now, there is some loom on this watch, on the indices. Nothing to write home about, but you don't get that for that. This is not going to be a loom style dive watch, right? You're getting it because this is a great piece, and it's not going to break the bank. It's not going to destroy your wallet. It's not going to take too much out of the watch budget. You still be able to have your family responsibilities and and buy something that looks very, very luxurious. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Please put a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.